What if the reason you're walking slower starts with your breakfast? Frank never thought much about his breakfast. 2 slices of toast, orange juice, maybe some bacon, same thing he'd eaten for years. But one morning, just weeks after his 67th birthday, he stood up from the couch. And his legs didn't follow. They felt stiff, weak, like he was wearing someone else's shoes. By the time he reached the porch, he was out of breath. He laughed it off. Until it happened again. And again. Frank had been a firefighter. A strong one. The kind who carried people out of burning buildings. But now, just getting to the mailbox felt like work. His doctor ran tests. Heart, lungs, spine, all looked okay. But one quiet observation changed everything. Let's talk about your circulation. And what you're putting in your body every morning. Most people think poor circulation starts with the heart, or with age. But in reality, it often begins in the gut, long before we notice it in our legs. Your breakfast isn't just a meal. It's a message to your blood vessels. The wrong message, especially when repeated daily, can slow your flow, tighten your arteries, and quietly weaken your legs. In this video, we'll explore how your morning meal affects your blood flow and your joints. The 3 most common breakfast mistakes people over 50 make. And the small changes that helped real people like Frank walk stronger again. If you've been feeling slower, heavier, or just not like yourself, this story might be the wake-up call your body's been waiting for. So how exactly does something in your stomach end up making your knees ache and your legs feel tired? Let's unpack that in the next part. Most people think joint pain comes from age. Or from wear and tear. But what if it actually started here, in your stomach? Strange as it sounds, the way your blood flows, and the way your joints feel, are deeply connected to the first thing you eat each day. Here's how it works. Your gut isn't just a digestive system. It's a control center for inflammation, and inflammation affects circulation. When we eat ultra-processed foods for breakfast, like white toast, sugary cereal, flavored yogurt, or sausage, the gut reacts by producing inflammatory compounds. These compounds tell your blood vessels to tighten and your immune system to go on alert. That means blood flow slows down, especially to your legs, hands, and joints. Your body becomes less efficient at removing waste and delivering nutrients to cartilage. And over time, joints that are undernourished begin to ache, swell, and stiffen. So let's break it down simply. Gut inflammation, poor blood circulation, slower healing in joints, more pain, less mobility. Take Robert, 64, from Arizona. He loved starting his day with pancakes, maple syrup, and a glass of orange juice. It was his comfort meal. But by 10 a.m., his knees would start to throb. By afternoon, he couldn't bend down without wincing. He thought it was just arthritis, until a dietitian suggested he swap his breakfast. He switched to oatmeal with chia seeds, some blueberries, and a boiled egg. Just 2 weeks later, his knees felt noticeably lighter. Not perfect, but better. And that gave him hope. Your body is talking to you every day. In the stiffness in your legs, the ache in your hands, or the way your feet feel cold even in warm socks. And often, that conversation begins right after breakfast. You don't need to overhaul everything. But changing what you eat in the morning could rewrite how your joints feel in the evening. But what exactly are the most common mistakes we make in the morning, the ones silently hurting our circulation and joints? Let's look at the 3 big ones, and see if they're hiding in your kitchen right now. After 50, the smallest habits can have the biggest impact, especially first thing in the morning. It's not about one bad meal. It's about quiet routines that slowly add pressure on your joints, without you even noticing. Let's walk through 3 of the most common mistakes, ones that many people over 50 make with love, with habit, and sometimes with good intentions. When you skip breakfast, your blood sugar drops, and your body enters a mild stress state. That stress triggers inflammation and reduces circulation to the joints, especially in the knees and hands. Many people wait until 10 or 11 a.m. to eat, thinking it helps them stay light. But for aging joints, it means less lubrication, less energy, and more stiffness. Margaret, 70, shared she used to have just coffee until lunchtime. But every morning, she felt her fingers ache by 9 a.m. When she added a light, anti-inflammatory breakfast, like warm oatmeal with almond butter, the stiffness improved within days. Breakfasts like cereal, white toast, muffins, or even flavored yogurt spike your blood sugar fast, but then crash it, creating inflammation spikes that affect your joints directly. That sugar also feeds the bad bacteria in your gut, which release toxins into your bloodstream, another source of joint pain. Think of it like this. Fast sugar in. Gut inflamed. Blood flow restricted. Joints under pressure. Coffee stimulates cortisol, the stress hormone. On an empty stomach, cortisol spikes higher and can trigger joint inflammation, especially if your joints are already sensitive. Caffeine also narrows blood vessels for a short time, reducing blood flow, not what aging joints need early in the day. John, 61, always started his day with a double espresso, no food. He thought it kept him sharp. But he didn't connect it to the tightness in his lower back that came every morning. When he began eating something light before his coffee, the pain didn't disappear overnight, but the tightness? It loosened. And that changed his mornings. You don't need to give up your coffee. Or your routine. You just need to understand the signals your body is sending. Because when you treat your mornings with more care, your joints often thank you all day. So if age isn't the only thing making your legs and joints weaker, what else might be going on? Let's look deeper into why your legs might be the first to suffer from poor circulation. We've been taught to accept it. That getting older means walking slower, feeling stiffer, and losing strength in our legs. But what if age isn't the main reason? What if your legs aren't weak? They're just running low on clean blood, and it's your morning meal quietly cutting off the supply? Poor circulation isn't always something you feel in your chest. It often shows up first in the legs. Why? Because your legs are farthest from your heart. And when blood flow is compromised, by sugar spikes, gut inflammation, or stiffened arteries, your legs are the first to miss out on oxygen and nutrients. Over time, that lack of flow makes your muscles feel heavy, your balance uncertain, and your knees unreliable. And it happens silently, often mistaken for just aging. Here's a simple chain reaction. Inflammatory breakfast, sugar, processed fats. Narrowed blood vessels. Reduced blood flow to the legs. Muscle fatigue, poor balance, joint discomfort. Your legs don't just get old. They're responding to what's being carried in your bloodstream, or what's missing from it. Dolores, 72, from Michigan, told me she used to feel like her legs were made of concrete by noon. She tried stretching, walking, even supplements, but nothing helped. Then she met a nutritionist who looked at her food log. Every morning, waffles, syrup, juice. Sweet, comforting, but inflaming. When she switched to a high-fiber, low-sugar breakfast. Within 2 weeks, she said her walks around the block felt easier. Her legs didn't feel young, but they felt alive again. Your legs are trying to tell you something. Not about age, but about how they're being fed. About what your blood is carrying, every single morning, through your veins. And the good news is, your body can shift. It just needs the right signal. The right flow. And the right breakfast. Now that we understand how your legs are affected by what's on your plate, let me share a story that might sound familiar. About Linda, and the healthy breakfast she thought was helping, but was actually holding her back. Linda was proud of her routine. She was 65, retired, full of life, and walked 10,000 steps a day, every day. She didn't smoke. She didn't drink. And every morning, she made herself what she believed was the perfect breakfast. A bowl of granola with almond milk, half a banana, and a splash of honey. It was clean. It was plant-based. It was the beginning of her downfall. Over a few months, Linda noticed her legs felt tired by noon. Not sore, just unusually heavy. By the end of the day, she had to sit and rest more often than before. Then came the mornings when she woke up feeling stiff. Then, the unsteady steps. The occasional stumble. And finally, the cane. Doctors checked her bones. Her heart. Her blood pressure. All looked normal. But deep down, she knew something was off. Here's the thing, granola, even the natural kind, often contains a lot of sugar. Some brands pack 20 to 30 grams of sugar in one serving. That's more than a donut. Even with almond milk and banana, her breakfast was pushing her body into a daily sugar spike. That spike triggered inflammation, tightened her blood vessels, and slowed blood flow to her legs. And like we learned earlier, when circulation drops, muscles get weaker, joints lose support, and mobility declines. Linda's routine looked healthy on the surface. But in reality, it was sugar-rich breakfast. Chronic inflammation. Reduced circulation. Weakness and instability. The problem wasn't Linda's age. It was the hidden sugar, eaten with the best intentions. And her body, especially her legs, simply couldn't keep up with it anymore. But here's the hope, once she changed her breakfast. Her strength didn't just stop declining, it slowly started coming back. No more granola. Now she eats eggs, greens, and a little avocado. And most days, she walks without the cane. But Linda isn't alone. There are dozens of foods we think are clean or natural. Yet they quietly feed the inflammation that drains our energy and stiffens our joints. Let's take a closer look at those fake healthy breakfast foods in the next part. It's easy to feel like you're doing the right thing. Choosing low fat. Picking whole grain. Drinking 100% juice. Because the label says natural or heart healthy, right? But the truth is, not everything that sounds healthy is actually helping your blood flow. Many healthy breakfast staples in the grocery store are loaded with hidden sugars, preservatives, and refined ingredients. They taste clean. They sound smart. But inside your body, they do something very different. They trigger gut inflammation. They raise triglycerides. They narrow blood vessels, especially the small ones in your legs and joints. Over time, these foods slow your circulation, stiffen your arteries, and leave your limbs feeling heavier, colder, and less responsive. Here are a few common examples. Flavored yogurt, 1 small cup can have 18-25 g of sugar. Whole grain bread, often made with refined flour plus sweeteners like molasses. Granola bars, packed with syrup, puffed rice, and additives. Fruit juice, even 100% juice floods the bloodstream with fructose, minus the fiber. Instant oatmeal packets, highly processed, flavored, and loaded with sugar. Carl, 68, was doing his best to clean up his mornings. He swapped bacon for turkey sausage. Drank orange juice instead of soda. And started every day with a granola bar on his way to the golf course. But his feet felt cold most mornings. And by hole 9, his legs were already tired. A nutritionist helped him read the labels. Turns out, his breakfast added up to over 40 grams of sugar, before lunch. Once he switched to real oats, a handful of nuts, and a boiled egg, the cold feet improved. His energy lasted longer. And his doctor said, "Your blood pressure's finally moving in the right direction." The food industry is good at selling comfort. But your body doesn't care what's on the label. It only responds to what's inside. You don't have to fear breakfast. Just learn to listen: real food, low sugar, steady energy. That's what your circulation needs. But how do you know if your breakfast is already harming your circulation? Let's look at a few silent warning signs your body may be trying to give you, every morning. Most damage doesn't happen with a bang. It creeps in slowly, through habits we trust, flavors we love, and routines we never question. That's how the wrong breakfast works. It doesn't hurt. It hides. But your body is quietly trying to tell you. When your breakfast causes inflammation or disrupts your blood sugar, you may not feel it right away. But subtle symptoms show up in places most people don't expect. It's not always stomach pain. Often, it's your legs. Your energy. Your clarity. Here are 5 quiet signs your morning routine may be doing more harm than good. You feel lightheaded when standing up quickly. Sign of unstable blood sugar or low blood pressure from poor circulation. Your feet feel cold, even when the room is warm. Suggests reduced blood flow to the lower limbs. You crash around mid-morning. That 10 a.m. slump? Likely from a sugar spike and crash after breakfast. Your joints feel stiff by midday. Inflammation from processed foods can build quietly in knees, hips, or fingers. You feel foggy or irritable after eating. Blood sugar swings can affect brain function and mood, not just energy. Eleanor, 71, thought she was just slowing down. Every morning after breakfast, she'd sit at the kitchen table, rub her knees, and sigh. Then one day, her granddaughter asked, "Grandma, why do you always look sad after breakfast?" That simple question made her rethink her morning routine. She replaced her toast and jam with eggs and avocado. 3 weeks later, she didn't just feel lighter, she smiled more. Your body doesn't yell. It whispers. And if we learn to listen early, we might not need the cane, the pills, or the long naps later. So don't wait for pain. Watch for the quiet signs. They're your body's way of saying, "Please, choose better for me tomorrow morning." So what can we choose instead? What kind of breakfast actually supports your joints, fuels your body, and keeps your legs moving strong? Let's explore that, in the next part. After everything we've explored, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Like change means giving up all your comfort, your flavors, your habits. But the truth is, you don't need a revolution. You just need a reset, right at the start of your day. The goal of a healing breakfast is simple. Stabilize your blood sugar. Reduce morning inflammation. Support strong, consistent blood flow. This isn't about cutting out joy. It's about choosing foods that tell your body, "I'm here to help you move today." A joint-friendly, circulation-boosting breakfast often includes clean protein, eggs, Greek yogurt, tofu, fuels muscle and supports vessel repair. Healthy fats, avocado, olive oil, nuts, reduce inflammation and support blood flow. Real fiber, oats, chia seeds, berries, keep blood sugar steady and gut healthy. Anti-inflammatory herbs, turmeric, cinnamon, or ginger in tea or oatmeal. Even one change, like swapping sugary cereal for steel-cut oats, can shift your whole day. Let me tell you about George, 69. He was stubborn about his toast and jelly, it was his comfort. But after one too many mornings with leg cramps and balance issues, he agreed to try something new. 2 boiled eggs, half an avocado, and a small bowl of blueberries. The result? He didn't just feel better, he walked better. And for the first time in months, he made it through the entire grocery store without holding onto the cart. The food on your fork isn't just fuel. It's a message. And each bite is either helping your legs carry you farther, or quietly taking steps away. You deserve to move freely. to feel grounded. And it starts with a breakfast that loves your body back. So what does this look like in real life? Let me share with you 3 simple, delicious breakfast ideas that real people over 60 swear by. Ones that don't just taste good, they work. By now, you know what to avoid. But what should you actually eat? The answer isn't in a trendy diet. It's in the real stories of people over 60. Who still walk strong, think clearly, and feel like themselves. Each of these breakfast ideas is grounded in 3 things. Balanced blood sugar. Anti-inflammatory nutrients. Gentle digestion support. They're not just healthy. They're practical. Tasty. And proven, by real people. What's inside? 2 boiled eggs. 1/2 avocado sliced. 1/2 cup cooked steel-cut oats. A sprinkle of pumpkin seeds. Why it works? The protein from eggs and healthy fats from avocado support circulation and muscle recovery. Oats plus seeds equals stable energy and fiber to feed gut health. George, 69. I haven't needed my walking stick in weeks. I just feel lighter on my feet. What's inside? 3/4 cup unsweetened Greek yogurt. 1/4 cup fresh blueberries. 1 tablespoon ground flax seeds. A touch of cinnamon. Why it works? Yogurt adds gut-friendly probiotics and protein. Berries fight inflammation. Cinnamon helps control blood sugar. Perfect for those with sensitive joints in the morning. Linda, 66. I used to feel foggy and achy after breakfast. Now I feel steady. And clear. What's inside? 2 scrambled eggs sautéed with spinach. A slice of whole grain sourdough. Herbal tea with turmeric and ginger. Why it works? Leafy greens boost nitric oxide, which helps blood vessels relax. Turmeric and ginger lower inflammation naturally. This combo fuels both body and mind. David, 73. I used to nap mid-morning. Now, I go for a walk instead. These aren't just meals. They're rituals, quiet acts of self-respect. They say, today, I choose strength. I choose clarity. I choose to move. It's not about perfection. It's about starting with 1 plate, and letting it support your whole day. And as you begin to shift your mornings, there's one simple truth I want you to carry with you. Because the most important lesson doesn't come from a label, a study, or even a recipe. It comes from your own legs. Let's wrap this up with a message they've been trying to tell you all along. We often blame time. We say, I'm just getting old. But what if your body isn't breaking down? It's just responding to what you give it, or what you don't. The science is clear. Muscle loss, circulation decline, joint stiffness, these don't appear overnight. And they're not only caused by age. They're accelerated by repetition. The same high-sugar breakfasts. The same missed nutrients. The same inflammation, every single morning. Over the past 30 minutes, you've seen how your stomach talks to your legs. The silent damage from healthy foods. And how real people reclaimed strength, by changing how they start their day. And through all of it, one truth becomes clear. Your legs are not the problem. They are the messengers. Think of every time your legs felt tired on stairs. Every moment you gripped a railing, paused on the sidewalk, or hesitated to bend down. That wasn't weakness. That was your body saying, help me flow again. Feed me right. Just give me a chance. You're not broken. You're not too old. You're just one new morning away from momentum. From blood that moves like it should. From legs that feel like you again. And tomorrow? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. Because healing doesn't start with willpower. It starts with breakfast. So if you've ever wondered, is it too late for me? The answer is simple, no. Your legs are waiting. And your next choice could be the one that helps them rise. So now that your mornings are on the right path, what about your lunch? Because many people eat with good intentions at noon. But without knowing it, they're feeding the very inflammation that makes joints swell, knees ache, and movement harder by evening. In the next video, we'll uncover the 4 most common lunch habits silently damaging your joints, and how to replace them with gentle, healing meals without giving up flavor, convenience, or joy. Click to watch, because you've already taken the first step. Let's keep walking together.